Okay, so welcome everyone. This is Manisha, and I am here as your life and wellness coach. I'm here as a doTERRA wellness advocate and someone who just loves to talk about biohacking the body so that we can feel our best. So today our topic is going to be about sleep. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about biohacking. So biohacking is a term used to describe do-it-yourself biology. A lot of people are using this term right now. What it really is, it's really simple. It just involves people making incremental changes to their bodies, their diet, their lifestyle to improve their health and well-being. So it's really a simple concept. And when we learn the small bits that we can change, then we can actually move the needle on our health. And that's what we want to do. We want to do that naturally and best we can, especially as we age. So hopefully everyone can see the presentation. If you can just give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation, that would be great. Okay. So, we spend approximately a third of our lives asleep. Sleep is an essential and involuntary process without which we cannot function effectively. And we see this in our lives, right? It's essential to our bodies. It's as essential as eating, drinking, and breathing. And it's really vital for maintaining good mental and physical health. So sleeping helps to repair and restore our brains, not just our bodies. So from the biohacker's perspective, sufficient and good sleep at night contributes to better performance, awareness, mood, ability to handle stress, skin quality. It helps us with sports performance and the capacity to learn new things. This is giving us the ability to maintain a general well-being in our life. So a body reboots while you sleep. It's both physically and mentally important. Physically, the body goes through a restorative process that affects the digestive, immune, and circulatory systems. So that lack of sleep is actually proven to increase the secretion of even appetite-stimulating hormones. Makes you eat more than you need and increase your risk of all sorts of diseases. So lack of sleep can increase your risk of heart disease and even things like Alzheimer's disease. Sleep has that positive effect on the brain. So getting the right amount of sleep is very important for emotional and cognitive functioning. So you kind of get an idea from this list here on the screen about how much sleep we need at the different phases of our life. Of course, as we age, we need less sleep. So we know a newborn needs kind of between that 14 to 17 hours of sleep a night to have their body do what it needs to do to grow and to develop. So it's getting the right amount of sleep is very important for emotional and cognitive functioning. And studies show a clear link between sleep deprivation and depression. So we really want to be sure even our teens and the younger generation is getting their sleep. Not enough sleep can also reduce your ability to empathize. So this is thought to be the result of certain parts of the brain becoming overactive when we don't sleep. So the brain really needs to be switched off for hours to synchronize itself. A good night's sleep is, the positive effects of you can see in the next day, right? So having time to sleep allows your brain to catch up and prepare for the next day. The positive effects of good sleep also affect your ability to focus, concentrate, remember things, solve problems, and really to be motivated. When we're tired, we can't do these things very well. A good night's sleep is I would say it's a nice reward, and it's also necessary for a balanced and healthy life. So again, the amount of sleep, it really does depend on the person. I really like to talk about quality of sleep more than quantity of sleep. However, there are a certain number of hours that the body does need to be in sleep mode. So just to keep that in mind. So we're going to start talking about the different biohacking concepts that we use to get to better sleep. So, the first thing is that, did you know your body cools down as it's time to go to sleep, and it warms up again when it's time to wake up? So this is really important to keep a really good sleep temperature. If the temperature in your bedroom is too warm, it can throw off how you sleep or cause you to wake up in the middle of the night, which also ruins your sleep. So we like to say aim for about 65 degrees Fahrenheit or around 18 Celsius in your bedroom. And it's also important to remember what you're wearing to sleep, the sheets you're using, the blankets, all that is going to affect your temperature. So it seems like a really simple thing to keep the bedroom at a certain temperature, but sometimes we don't think of it as a real process that we can change or adjust and be really intentional about the temperature we're keeping in the room. We have to remember that body temperature affects not only sleep onset, but also sleep quality and the time spent in the different sleep stages. So a higher core body temperature has been associated with a decrease in the restorative slow wave sleep, okay, and then sleep quality. So keeping that, really at a good level and consistently every night is important too. So if you're traveling or going to a new location, again, like adjusting that so that you can really get into your good sleep quality. The next thing we're going to talk about is the circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm, this is also known as your internal body clock. And this is responsible for making you feel alert and sleepy throughout the day. So ideally, you should feel most alert early in the morning and sleepy as it becomes darker and later in the day. So the way circadian rhythms work is they help to make sure that the body's processes are optimized at various points during the 24-hour period. So the term circadian comes from the Latin phrase circa diem, which means around a day. So it really makes a lot of sense when we think of the rhythm of our body. The circadian rhythm is why teenagers find it difficult to go to bed and wake up early. So this was really interesting when I read this because I have teenagers. So in the teenage years, the hormonal response to that 24-hour daily light dark exposure that influences that circadian rhythm is altered. So this makes adolescents physiologically yearn to stay awake at night and to remain asleep later in the day. And this is all because their natural melatonin is released later than adults and the little children. So they're awake later. So I found this really interesting, especially like in our school, we have the kids starting at 9 a.m. And I think that this was all based on this process of the circadian rhythm for teenagers, which I think is really powerful. So, and then the other thing to think about are things like jet lag and shift work. These also interfere with the natural body clock as well. So it gives you these long and irregular hours. So you really have to, during those times of kind of unusual events, you have to find your way to set back your circadian rhythm. So some of the ways to do that is to go to bed and get up at the same time every day. Again, hard with jet lag, but if you can get into a rhythm once you're past that jet lag or force yourself into some of the sleep mode when you're not really sleepy, it will help you a lot. When you wake up, you can take a morning walk and get some sunlight on your face. That really helps our circadian rhythm reset. You could try a sunlight alarm clock that wakes you up with light. So this is really an interesting concept. Instead of waking up in the dark with that alarm clock, there are actually alarm clocks that give you sunlight when they go off, and that's really powerful. And then you can use oils. So we're going to be talking about oils a little later, but you can pop citrus and mint oils in your diffuser to start waking up your senses. You can also use these oils internally, and that can also wake up your senses. So again, finding those things that you can use to get your circadian rhythm set back. Not always possible because of just the way the life is, but if you can do your best to do it on most nights, your body is going to sleep and rest a lot better. So the next concept for biohacking is food. So there are foods that you can incorporate at dinner or like an evening snack so that when it comes to bedtime, you can fall asleep and stay asleep. So this is just a short list here. Things like bananas, almonds, chickpeas, fish, spinach, milk, whole grain cereal, and oat cakes. So the list is just a list and you can look up more foods, but certain foods boost our serotonin levels. And serotonin is the precursor to melatonin. And melatonin helps us fall asleep faster. So when you can use these foods before you go to bed or as the last meal of your day, you're helping your body boost serotonin levels and produce the melatonin. And that's really powerful. when, if you eat foods that are not going to do this, then your body is going to be working against the sleep cycle and not being able to get into rest mode. So let's talk a little bit about coffee and things like cigarettes. The caffeine in coffee is notorious for making it difficult to fall asleep. So even a single cup of coffee in the afternoon could well make going to bed virtually impossible. Now, everybody's body's a little different, so you really have to be in tune with your body to determine when that last cup of coffee can be, right? Or last cup of caffeine can be. Alcohol, on the other hand, that actually relaxes the body and slows down the nervous system. But, because your body may have to deal with the negative effects of alcohol overnight, it's not really a good thing to use to go to sleep. So instead of getting a good chance to rest, your body has to work when you drink the alcohol. Alcohol also, if you haven't, I've noticed with maybe the people around you, alcohol relaxes the muscles in your throat, so that makes it easier to snore. So if you have a snorer in the home and you're noticing, the difference, be aware of what the difference is there if they've had a drink in the evening or before bed. Smokers, again, well known to have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. So this is because of the nicotine. The nicotine in cigarettes has many effects on the body. So like alcohol, it also tends to prevent the body from fully relaxing. So being really conscious with what you're putting into your body before you get to sleep, or actually throughout the whole day, but really in those hours before you get to sleep, can really alter the quality of your sleep. So important to keep that in mind. And then we're going to talk about movement. So daily movement, it supports better sleep habits. So exercise can help you to fall asleep faster and improve your sleep quality. In particular, exercise increases your overall quality and helps you sleep longer. So by exercise in the early morning or afternoon, your body is ready for downtime at night. So we know the relationship between exercise and sleep has been extensively investigated over the years. Previous studies have noted that proper exercise can alleviate sleep-related problems and help you get an adequate amount of rest. And then again, on the other side, that insufficient or poor quality sleep can lead to lower levels of physical activity the following day. So they're very related. They have this bi-directional relationship. So, optimizing your exercise routine can potentially help you sleep better, and getting an adequate amount of sleep can promote healthier physical activity during the next day. We do say try to avoid exercising within 2 hours before you go to bed as a strenuous activity, because at this time it can stop you from falling asleep, as well as exercise gives you a burst of energy that can keep going for a few hours after. Some of the movement that you can do before sleep are some yoga poses and some kind of slower meditation poses, so that they can actually help your body relax for sleep. But doing something very strenuous is not recommended within the 2 hours before sleep. And of course, if you have little kids and you want to get them to fall asleep faster, take them to the park to run around in the afternoon for at least 30 minutes, and that's going to help their bodies get into that tired mode for sleep. So, among the many benefits of sleep, exercise builds up a chemical in the brain called adenosine. And this helpful substance not only makes us more tired, but also encourages deeper sleep. Exercise also is known to release endorphins, and they're the happiness hormones that make you feel more satisfied and happier. And when you're feeling more satisfied and happier, your body can relax and put you into a better sleep mode and help you fall asleep faster. So just a few tips there on, getting your movement through the day. We also know it's great for our body anyways, but if it can also help with your sleep, then that's definitely something to make sure you're intentionally doing throughout the day. So now we're going to talk about blue light. So you might have heard of blue light a lot. Things like scrolling on a screen just before bed are big culprits when it comes to sleep problems. So our cell phones, laptops, TVs, all these emit blue light. Blue light can affect your body's natural circadian rhythm if it's exposed within, they say, 2 hours of going to sleep. So what blue light does is it suppresses the production of melatonin, and that's our naturally occurring sleep hormone, which tells our body it's tired and needs to sleep. Now, the sun emits blue light, which is why it's easier to wake up when the sun is shining in the window. The easiest way to prevent blue light from wreaking havoc on your sleep is truly to ditch the screens, right? A couple hours before going to bed. And a nice way to do this is swap your screen habit, because it does become a habit. You can swap it for a book, like an actual book that you're reading, not on a screen, unless you're reading it somewhere where there's a blue light blocker. So you can use blue light blocker glasses when using screens, or turn on your blue light blocker on your phone when scrolling. It's still not as good as ditching the screen altogether, because using a screen actually keeps our brain turned on. But, if it has to be, then blue light blocker glasses are great. The thing with this blue light, it just tricks our bodies into thinking it's time to wake up. And then that makes it harder to fall asleep. So this artificial light, it stops the release of melatonin, and we need that naturally secreted hormone that makes us tired. Now, instead of using, I know a lot of people tend to go for melatonin supplements, and they think that that's going to help them. They've stayed up, but really that's not very natural for our bodies. We'd rather have the body producing its own melatonin to fall asleep. Okay, so now I'm going to switch into the essential oils for sleep. Essential oils are a great addition to your bedtime routine. Oils can change your physical state, the awake versus asleep. Finding the right essential oils for you is just as easy as testing different diffuser blends and seeing how you feel in the morning. So, essential oils are extracts from plants, and they have these amazing health benefits. So using a diffuser blend before you go to bed, and then in the morning, if you notice that a certain diffuser blend helped you a lot, you should just write it down. Because as our bodies are different, you might need different things from, let's say, like your friend or someone else. If you wear a Fitbit or a watch that monitors your sleep, you can go ahead and watch how the oils affect, what it's monitoring. So that's really helpful. We have some great oils. I just have a little list here. Oils are actually very relaxing in general. So a lot of oils can adapt to help us to relax. Some of the ones I have listed here are magnolia. This one's very high in linalool, which is great for sleep. Lavender, cedarwood, vetiver, serenity. You're going to see that again in this presentation. Serenity is actually a blend. It's our restful blend, so it's great for sleep. Then we have frankincense and copaiba. So as I list these off, you might be thinking, that's a lot of oils. I don't know which one to use. Again, customizing it for yourself, trying a few, maybe sampling a few and seeing what really worked for you and what's feeling good to you to have in your diffuser before you go to bed. And what I like to do with the diffuser, especially the diffuser, is I like to turn it on about 20 minutes before I go to bed. I go ahead and turn it on and I go do my skincare routine, and I come back and my room is in that, I've created the atmosphere I want for my sleep. So I love that time of the day and just getting set up for the night ahead. Now, oils can also be rolled on the body when we're talking about the doTERRA oil. So some of these you can make into a roller ball. You can even make a blend of them. So you can take things like the vetiver, lavender, frankincense, maybe cedarwood, and make a roller ball. And roller balls can be rolled at the bottom of your feet. They can be rolled on pulse points. They can even be rolled down the back of the spine. Like for kids, we really like the touch when you have little kids. So massage is great too, massaging it on the bottom of their feet. So we have a few ways to use the oils when we start using them. So this is a great picture here of kind of a nighttime routine where it shows the 3 ways that you can actually use the essential oils. You can use them topically, as we just talked about, rolling them at the bottom of the feet or on other pulse points. The next thing I want to talk about is using them internally. So when I speak here, I'm really speaking only to doTERRA oils, and our oils, many of them can be used internally. So the 2 that we have actually turned into supplements that can actually be swallowed. They're a soft gel that can be taken as a supplement, a natural supplement. What I like about doTERRA supplements is that they are bioavailable. So they are tested in a way that we know that the entire soft gel is being absorbed by the body as food. That's bioavailable. So the quality is really good. So I'm just highlighting a couple here that are really well known for sleep. Copaiba, this is one great. It promotes cardiovascular, immune, digestive, respiratory, nervous systems. Okay, so it can be really calming, soothing, and supportive to the nervous system. And we know that that can help us get into sleep. That's what we're trying to calm down before we get to sleep. Copaiba is also an oil. So the oil can also be taken internally. So between the oil and the soft gel, you can really, supplement your sleep before you get into sleep mode. And then we have the Serenity. So this is our restful complex, and a little different from our oil blend, as you see in the topical section. So the soft gel here is a different blend. It combines both the oil, a little bit of some of the oils, in addition to some of the natural plant extracts in the soft gel to help you get the refreshing sleep you need. So it's our restful complex. You can use the oil in the diffuser, and you can take this one internally. And you see here aromatically, so that's the diffuser. So Serenity is kind of all over the place as far as restful. You can use it on the body, in the body, and you can use it in the air. So it's a really powerful blend. It's actually the one that I use in my home every night. It's kind of, my brain has been trained to know that when I smell Serenity, it's time to relax and get into sleep mode. So we know there are hundreds of different recommendations, family recipes, products, dietary supplements that can all claim to help us with sleep. However, what can be effective for one person may not help may not help at all for someone else or help all people. So, we really have to, try it and give it some time. Essential oils are not an overnight fix. They are a support system. And with any support system, we know that you can't just be supported one day. It's an intentional process to support your body. So we really say just use the oils, continue to use them, and try and find what really works for your body. So here's where I just took a lot of different, delivery systems and put them in one place. So if you feel like taking a picture of this, that's fine. If you're in my groups, I will share a picture of this in the groups. But here I've given some examples of like a room spray. So you can use essential oils in a room spray. You can spray it in the air, you can on your pillow, to help you help induce sleep and get you restful in that space. You can do massages. So here's a great recipe for a massage blend. It's cocoa butter, coconut oil, so easy. Just let it melt a little, add in your essential oils, your maybe lavender and frankincense, and whip it with the mixer and put it in a sealed container. And you can use that every evening. It's just so easy. And again, you can customize it with the oils you want, right? So that's so easy to do that when you start learning about the oils. Then you can have a bedtime tea. So I really like to do this. I love to have an herbal tea at night. Roman chamomile, lavender, those are great. I boil my water, let it cool down just a little bit, and just add my oils to it. And again, a lot of what we're doing here as a routine, so you're making a sleep routine or a sleep protocol for yourself, and that's really going to help because two things happen. First of all, you don't have to think about it every evening, what you're going to do. You have your routine, you know exactly what comes next, right, before you go to bed. And the second thing is that the body starts to learn that. The body starts to get cues from you on, okay, I'm having my Roman chamomile tea. It must be time to get to bed. So the body is very intuitive. If we give it healthy, healthy things, it's going to be healthy for us. So we definitely love that. And then of course our diffuser blends. So, using a blend, you can use a blend in the morning, you can use a blend before you go to bed, and then in the morning to wake you up. And that's going to help you set your circadian rhythm, right? So your body knows that, at a certain time every night or around a certain time, you're getting to bed, and this is the diffuser blend in there. When you wake up, it's daytime, there's daylight, and this is the diffuser blend in there. So, just making these small changes is really going to move the needle on health. So I take a minute here. I know we have people on Facebook and in the Zoom room, and then here. So if we, this is a sleep score. So you can just take a minute to think about it. because what we really want to do before we make changes in our life is assess what's going on now. Once you first assess the current situation, and I would say writing it down is really powerful. Write down what's going on with your sleep. And once you write it down and you read it back to yourself, you can really have clarity on what's going on with your sleep. And if you are a person watching this who's really having sleep issues, or maybe you know someone who is, I would say a sleep journal is really good. And what that would be, it would be really simple, writing a few things down during the day that you've done, and then kind of monitoring your sleep at night. So the next morning you're checking it out and seeing how you slept, and you can start maybe finding patterns at what you've done during the day and how that may be affecting your sleep at night. So this was just a fun one, but you kind of get the idea of like rating yourself. So, you know that you have to get your sleep, maybe 7 to 8 hours a night. It's so important for mental health, cell turnover, emotional well-being. And it's really when your body clears neurotoxins from the brain. So we need to shut our brains off sometimes. If we don't do that, they're not going to have time to repair themselves. So the best practices for better sleep, I say make your bedroom a sanctuary. So today we talked a little bit about, your circadian rhythm, your eating nourishing and sleep-inducing foods, the temperature of your room, using a diffuser or some natural products internally, stretching or maybe exercising during the day, or stretching before you go to bed to get some kind of yoga to relax your body, and then reducing your blue light. So that is like a big one. So these are the ones we've talked about, just talked about. So getting committed to good sleep is important. I'm going to just remind us of a few other things. First of all, comfort. Getting a good night's sleep depends on a comfortable mattress that suits your taste, pillows that suit your sleeping position, and a comforter or blanket that you're using. So, do some research on that. Your sleeping position can often determine whether you prefer a soft or firm bed or what kind of pillow you need. Just really, really important. This is us setting up our room, for the best sleep. Also, the brain can't relax when the room is cluttered. So to get a better night's sleep, have a clutter-free bedroom. The more organized your bedroom is, the more likely you are to sleep well, and you can wake up refreshed. This is so important with our kids. The time when they're growing, they need to be sleeping well so that they can develop well and think well. So cluttered bedrooms is not the best way to set up a sanctuary, the bedroom that should be a sanctuary. Think of your light and your lighting. So there is that deep relationship between the amount of light in the room and sleep. Gradually dim the lights in your room before going to bed, right? And let plenty of light in the morning, and that's going to help you set that circadian rhythm. Blackout curtains are great. That can help a lot. The color of the light is also important. And for me, this is really important, especially traveling around the world. I find sometimes I don't get this ideal lighting in my room, but a warm light is best for getting ready for bed. So not the cool light, but the warm light. And then also dimmable light bulbs. These are really great. They can change the warmth of the light, and you can literally keep changing that until you get to bed, until you finally turn it off, right? So that's really important. Temperature, we talked about. How about sound? Sound is really important too. It's actually one of the most important factors. Some people say that they can sleep through lots of noise, but to be really honest, their brains might not be shutting off very, as much as they can be. So ideally, your bedroom should be an oasis of calm, a place that blocks out unwanted, annoying sounds, because these can interfere with a good night's sleep. And also think of soft furnishings such as, thick curtains and carpets. These can isolate a bedroom and dampen vibration. So you might be in a space that is louder, but if you can get, if you don't have carpets, throw down some rugs, get thick curtains, because they will absorb the noise and the vibration. So a great way to kind of hack that part of it. And then we want to think of air quality. Now, we've been talking about diffuser use as it relates to calming the mind and the body, but air quality is really important too. If you live in a place that you don't tend to have good air quality outside, I promise you some of that yucky air pollution is getting in your home through the windows that we don't realize. So using things like fans, air conditioners, air purifiers, potted plants. Plants are great because, you know, they actually purify the air, or a diffuser to purify the air, especially if you're living in an area where there is bad air quality, that could be really good. So what I can tell you about the diffuser is that you can use a couple of diffusers in a room. So if you live in a place with bad air quality or bad air quality day, you can actually put a diffuser in the corner away from where you're sleeping and put in the air purifying oils, such as usually it's like a citrus. Citrus are great for that, some of the firs. And then near your bed, near where you're asleep, you can put in your oils to relax your mind. So again, like setting up that room, finding what works best. And then the last thing that I have read about with sleep is color coordination. So it's really interesting that different colors have different effects on our minds. And what I read was that blue, yellow, and green have the effect of leading to a good night's sleep. So, you know, whether you're keeping the room, you know, whatever color you're keeping it, but if you find that you're not sleeping well, maybe the colors need to change in your room, and that helps your brain to relax and get into that mode of sleeping. So what I can say about all of this is make your bedroom a sanctuary, and then set up some protocols to get you to that point of falling asleep well. And hopefully that will help you over some trial and error, getting to a place where you really have something set, getting yourself the best sleep. So the last thing I just always like to end the classes with is the 3 types of people that come to these classes. I'm so glad for everybody who got to join in live or join in on the stream or the recording. So I really appreciate you all being here. There are 3 types of people who usually come to these classes. The first person is excited to live a natural solutions lifestyle. So when they learn about the power of essential oils and natural products, they can't wait to try everything and make those simple swaps to feel healthier and happier for themselves and their families. So doTERRA and as wellness advocates, we support this type of person by providing monthly education, support, and the resources. Right. The second type of person is sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, my mother needs these. My friend wants to learn about this or needs to sleep better or use oils, right? So these people naturally want to share what they love. And doTERRA supports this type of person through a generous system to reward people who share the products and share the lifestyle. And as people consistently share over time, they can have their oils they purchase paid for each month for free. So we call this free natural healthcare. And there are thousands and thousands of people all over the world who are currently receiving free natural healthcare from doTERRA. And we are really proud of how we can offer this to people. And then the third type of person watches me teach classes, watch me today, and is thinking, that's what I want to do. I want to change people's lives through educating people about the power of natural solutions. So doTERRA rewards this type of person through an incredibly generous compensation plan. And as these people educate others about the power of essential oils, they can earn enough to supplement or even replace their income so they can become financially free. And I can let you know that as I went into this builder mode of building the doTERRA business around the world, the biggest thing I love about it is that I watch other people's lives change. And through the process, I've watched my own life change. And I love the purpose that it's given me to get out in the world and share these natural solutions and watch us all feel a lot better. So I just want to thank everybody for jumping in. I appreciate your time on this. I hope that there was information in this presentation that was valuable to you, or maybe valuable to somebody that you love or that is in your life who may need to make some changes to really move the needle on their health. Biohacking is extremely powerful. It can really do things to our body that we can sustain over time, without those side effects, without those, feelings that we get when we're really either not feeling well or we're having to take a lot of medication to feel well. So we really want to kind of circumvent that by using natural solutions and working with our body so that our body can work its best. Because the more love we put into our body, the more love it's going to give us out. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and see if there are any questions anywhere.